Hi guys, you are welcome to the continuation of the video session on how to trade gold. All right, in the past videos, done 3 videos already, and in the last 3 videos we've discussed about the top-down analysis, where you review the market structures on the time frames, and then you get to see how market progresses. The second topic was candle color and momentum, where you review the population and numbers of the candles, the green and the red candles on the chart. Of course, I did another video where I talked about how to plot trend lines on the charts, where you get to drag the trend line tools from the left side of the price chart to the right side, from one candlestick wick to another, from tip to tip. You can go to that video to see how it's done. Then I discussed in that very second video on how to identify the price liquidity zones, where you check for areas on the chart where price has formed pin bars, and these areas may be bearish or bullish pin bars. Okay, these zones or pin bars are known as liquidity zones. Go to that second video on how to trade XAUUSD, that's gold, and see get to see know more about the explanation on liquidity zones. Of course, in my third video, I discussed how to mark up the market structure, where we have the higher high, higher low, lower high, and lower low. And I said in that video, you identify the high and low of price from the left side of the chart, where you get to mark up the higher high, higher low, lower high, and lower low price progression on the chart. Of course, market structure is characterized by a minimum of 2 bearish or bullish candles, candlestick formation. All right, but I didn't finish the video, so we are going to go back to that same very video to finish the video, then we'll go to the next topic. All right, so in the last video I discussed about marking up the higher high, higher lows, lower high, lower low market structure on any chart, especially the gold chart. All right, this is the weekly chart, and I discussed about I discussed on how we can mark by starting with the lowest or the highest point at the left most part of the chart, and then progress to the next point where we have at least minimum 2 bullish or bearish candlesticks for us to have the next high or the next low, and then we progress the markup. Of course, we're able to mark this up on the weekly chart. So let's go quickly to the daily chart and see how we can mark up what we have on the daily chart. Okay, starting with this point where we have a low, I'm going to mark this as low, hell, put hell, letter hell here as our low point. We have 2 successive bullish candlesticks here. Yeah, we do. Okay, so the topmost part of the trend, this particular short trend, is going to be our high. Okay, so this is going to be our high. All right, now do we have 2 successive bearish candlesticks? Of course we do. These are bearish candlesticks. Okay, the lowest point of it will be our higher low. Of course, this is low, this is another low. This particular low will be higher, is higher than this particular low. So we're going to mark it up. Higher low. All right, now do we have 2 successive bullish candlesticks? This particular candlestick is a bullish candle, 1919.27, and the close is 1918. Of course, this is a bearish candle, so we do not have 2 successive bullish candles. So that means we are going to move our low to this point, in as much as there's really no push from the bulls along this trend. Okay, so our low will be here. Now this low that is moved here is going to be lower low, because this low is lower than this low. So I'm going to edit the text and change it to lower low. All right, at the pin I have 2 successive bullish candles around here. This point will have been my higher low, and then this part lower high, then I'll have lower low here. But along this line, I have a bullish candle, this is a bearish, and this is a bullish. So I don't have two successive bullish candlesticks. That is why I'm able to push the low to this point. Now, here for me to have the next market structure, do I have two bullish, successive bullish candlesticks? Yes, I do. The first two candles are bullish candles. So the top will be my lower high. Top will be my lower high. Reason is this particular high around here is higher than this particular high. So this high is lower than this high. That's why I'm marking it as lower high. Let me remove this horizontal line. Now, do we have two successive bearish candlesticks? Yes, these are two successive bearish candlesticks. But I can't mark this as my higher low because this is the only bullish candle. I don't have two successive bullish candles. So I'll push the low. This will not be my low. I'll rather push it towards the hand around here for me to have lower low. Lower low. Okay. You have two successive, of course. The first two candlesticks are bullish candles. Okay. So this will be a low point for price to now progress up. Do I have two successive bearish candles along the line? No. This is a bullish candle, this is a bearish, this is still bullish. Up until this point where I have my higher high. This is where I have my higher high, because this particular high is higher than this lower high. All right. So looking at how we started, I'm going to remove. Okay, let me leave this. Let me change the color. Change the color to another color. Change it to another color. Okay. Now we have a low, a high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. And now we have two successive. Let me change this color to another color so that I do not confuse the time frames with one another. Okay. Now we have two successive bearish candlesticks around here. So this is another low. Now this is going to give me a higher low. Going to give me a higher low. Let me change the color to black. Okay. It's going to give me a higher low. All right. This particular low is higher than this low down here. So this is a higher low. Now, do we have two successive bullish? Of course, I have two successive bullish candlesticks. Now, is it going to give me lower high? I guess as much. Lower high. So it's going to be my lower high, being that this is my lower high, being that this particular high is lower than this high here. So it's a lower high. Do I have two successive bearish? Of course, the first two candlesticks are bearish candles. All right, down up to here, we do not have two successive bullish candles along this line. So down to this point where I have my lower low. Lower low. Let me reduce the font size to 14. This is lower low. Now this lower low is coinciding with the higher low on the weekly chart. This is the higher low and this is a lower low. The lower low is on the daily chart, the higher low is on the weekly chart. All right, so let's go back to the daily chart. All right, now do we have two successive bullish candles? Of course we do, but we do not have two successive bearish candlesticks yet for us to have like a retracement in the trend. So this is still a bullish trend until we see another candlestick, like a red candle, a bearish candle formed, okay, for the next day, for us to now take that the close of that candle as for us to take the close of that very candle. Let's see this the close of this very candle as higher, as a lower, for us to take the top of the candle as a lower high, then higher low. All right, but for now it's still a bullish trend. For now we still see what we have here is what played out here. Okay, for now price is trending up. On Monday, instead of seeing a bearish candle the next day, we might rather see a bullish candle because the current trend is still bullish. But let's see how it goes. So that's that for the daily chart. Let's quickly go to the 4-hour chart and see how we can mark up the structure, market structure on the 4-hour chart. Of course, starting with the left side, this is a high. And color, make the color let's say blue color. This is a high. Of course, up to this point still a low. No two successive bullish candles. So down to this point still a low. Do you have two successive bullish candles? No. Down to this point, do you have two successive bullish candles? No. Down to this point where we now have two successive bullish candles. So this is going to be our low, final low. Is our final low on the 4-hour chart. Okay, now this is going to be our lower high because of these two candles. It's going to be our lower high on the 4-hour chart. Now, do we have two successive bearish candles? Of course, we have the start of two successive bearish candles around here on the 4-hour chart down to this point where we have our lower. It's going to be our lower low. All right, but do we have any successive two bullish candlesticks along the line? No. Down to this point where we now have two successive bullish candles. So this is going to be our lower, this particular low will be our lower low, which is the end of this particular trend. So this is the end of the trend. Now we have another trend, which is a counter trend, which is a bullish trend. Up to this point, bullish, two successive bullish candlesticks. Now around here we have a high, we have a low, lower high, lower low. Now this is going to be a lower high. It's going to be a lower high because of the two successive bullish, these two successive bullish candlesticks. But we have these two successive bearish candlesticks for us to now have higher low. It's going to be a higher low. Why is this going to be a higher low? Because of this short trend, these two candlesticks, and this particular low. I'm talking about this low point. This low point is higher than this low. Okay, this is a low, this is another low. This low here is higher than this low. That's why I labeled it higher low. All right, so that's that for that particular low. Now, do we have two successive bullish candlesticks? Of course, the first two candlesticks are bullish candles. So we have it run up to this point for us to have this higher high. It's going to be our higher high. Why is it our higher high? Because this high is higher than this high. I'm talking about this high point is higher than this high point. So that's why this is our higher high, not higher low. Sorry, it's higher high. Let me change it to higher high. Okay, so this higher high. Let me delete the trend lines. Delete these trend lines. Okay, so these are higher high. Now, do we have two successive bearish candlesticks? Of course, the first two candlesticks are bearish candles down to this point or down to this point. So we'll call this our higher low. These are our higher low. All right, these are higher low. Okay, now do we have two successive bearish bullish candles? Of course, the first two candles around here are bullish candles up to this point. Do you have any successive two bearish candlesticks along this line? No. Up to this point where we now have two successive bearish candlesticks. So we're going to push the higher high around here, not here, but here. The reason why it's not here is because of the absence of two bearish candles, meaning that this trend continues up to this point. So we're going to tag this particular part, this apex part, as higher high. So that means we might possibly see price go up. For this to be our higher low, then we have another high high, indicating that this trend is continuing. So but that's that. But if price does not go up, it might likely drop. So if we now have a bearish candle, let's tag this, let's change the color to a red color. If we now have a bearish candle drop below this particular higher low, then we can say that this will give us a lower low. This might give us a lower low. We might tag this as a lower low. All right. If the candle, if this turns out to be a bearish trend and the trend drops below this initial low, I'm talking about this low around here. Okay, these are previous low. If it drops below that low, then this becomes a lower low. But for now, price is in a bullish trend on the 4-hour time frame for gold. Okay, now let's drop to the 1-hour time frame, starting from the left side. Okay, this is a low. This is a low on the left side. Let me change the color to purple or dark, okay, violet. Okay, this is a low on the 1-hour time frame. All right, of course we have two successive bullish candles. The top is the high, all right, that's the high. Now these two candles, bearish candles, makes this the lower low on the 1-hour time frame. This is the lower low. All right, any two successive bullish candles? No, even up to this point, no. Okay, but we now have two successive bullish candles around here. So but this low is lower than this particular low, so this still counts as the lowest low. Okay, now we now have a trend, another trend develop up to this point, or up to this point, where we can now say we have this is a high, this is a lower low, this is a lower high. It's going to be a lower high. Okay, and we call this higher low. Higher low, because the nearest high to this particular high is this, and this high is higher than this high. That's why this high is lower than this high, but this low is higher than this low. There is even another low here. Okay, but because of the absence of a high around this point, that's why this low is not recognized, but this is recognized as the low, and this particular low is higher than this low here. So that's why we have this as higher low. Okay, two successive bullish candles up to this point. We call it higher high. Okay, any bearish two successive bearish, we have two here, so this is gonna be our low. Okay, so but what kind of low is it? Higher low, because this low is higher than this low here. It's going to be higher low. All right, two successive bullish, yes, here up to this point. We can call these what kind of low is this? Lower high. It's a lower high because this particular high, this particular very high is lower than this high, which is the previous high. All right, so that's why it's a lower high. But we have two successive bearish candlesticks, and this makes a low. But this low is going to be higher low. Look at, there's a low here, but this new low is higher than this previous low, so that makes it a higher low. Higher low. Okay, this point is our higher low. Two successive bullish, of course. Now this makes another high. All right, but there's a previous high here, there's another one here, but we look at the closest high. Now this high is higher than this high, so this makes it higher high. Higher high. Okay. All right, so do we have two successive bearish? Of course, the first two candlesticks are bearish candles and forms a trend that drops. Now this low here, this new low around here is lower than this low, so we're going to call this lower low. All right, so looking at the progression, we have a low high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, higher high, lower low. So more like a range. All right, where you start to see higher high, that's it, an uptrend, higher high, uptrend. But the moment you start to see lower low, that's downtrend. But this lower low, which is the beginning of a downtrend, more like a break of this particular structure, or a change of character, okay, is still at the top side of the chart. So you can't conclude that you have a downtrend yet. The overall trend is still bullish. Anything can still happen. Price might still start to go down or go up. More like price at the crossroad for now. You have to wait for price to make a decision and move in one direction for you to continue with the higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, for you to know whether price is actually trending up or price is continuing to trend up, or we now have a full change of character where price starts to go down and form another trend. Okay, but we're going to terminate this market structure markup at the 1 hour time frame. We might just briefly look at the 30 minutes time frame, taking a brief look at the 30 minutes time frame. And not really mark it out, I just point it out. This is a low, there's a high, higher low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Of course, this is a lower low. Okay, this is a higher high. Okay, this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. We do not have, it's still going down. It's still a downtrend for now because we do not have two successive bullish candles until we see the development of two successive bullish candles for us to mark up the next higher high or higher low or lower high or lower low. So that's that on how to mark up your chart, the candlestick on your chart, for you to know the market structure, whether the structure is bullish or the structure is bearish, or you have a break of structure. That's that for today's video. Till I come your way next time. Bye for now.